So, when you do find your seat, use your hands to roll your tushy flesh out from underneath the sits bones. And just notice if you can feel the base of your pelvis rooting downward. And even just slightly forward, rock your weight on your pelvis. So you're really off your tailbone, more perched right atop your sits bones. And even a bit in front of that is the base of the pelvis, the part of you which roots down and connects you to the earth, makes you feel stable and grounded. Really, it's your foundation, the beginning of your posture, your alignment. So from the stable base, rise up through the central channel, the Sushumna Nadi, the Atman Sutra, really whatever you want to call that, central line of your body around which you organize yourself, around which you lengthen, around which you breathe from center to circumference. So feel that line extend from the center base of your pelvis all the way up through your heart, through the center of your palate, out the top of your head, and at the same time drop a line down from the cosmos, that universal consciousness, through the crown, down through your central channel, into the earth. So now you're plugged in, you're connected. Relax your shoulders. Just feel that fullness of your breath for another couple cycles before we enter Nadi Shodhana Pranayam, which is the channel cleansing breaths. Already mentioned that central channel, Sushumna Nadi. We'll also be working with Ida and Pingala, the yin, the yang, the feminine, and the masculine nadis. It's on your left and your right, feminine and masculine corresponding. So this breath work, the intention really is to strike a balance by clearing out anything that might be stuck in those main three channels of yourself. So utilizing whichever hand's comfortable for you, I'll guide with the right. You'll take your index and middle finger into your palm, and then use the thumb to close off the right nostril. And you have your left nostril free, so you can inhale through that side, the lunar, the yin. Pinch it off at the very top, and you're full of breath, hold. And then exhale out through the right nostril, the solar side, the yang, masculine. Inhale up through the right. Pinch it off at the top. And exhale out through the left. It's already completing one full round of Nadi Shodhana. Inhale left side. Hold it at the top. Exhale right. Inhale right. Pinch it off at the top. And exhale left. That completes 2 cycles. We'll do about 2 to 3 more, just depending on how slow you go, how long you hold at the top. Really take your time with it. Just for that upsurge of energy with the inhale, bottom to top. And the down surge with the exhale, top to bottom. Your final exhale is through the left side, so we'll finish it on the lunar, the yin side of the body. So we retain that nice calmness, that receptivity, to tune in, to listen, to feel in. Repeat this mantra for practice today. I give myself permission to feel all of my feelings. The full range, the full spectrum, the yin to the yang, and back. So I give myself full permission to feel all of my feelings. To know that this space here on the mat the next hour is a safe space to feel, to evolve, to transform, to strike more balance between the active and the passive sides of the self. So much value in both, and I know that we've all really learned in this last month plus the value of the yin. So we've all been really forced to adopt more of it in our lives on the daily. So if you have any other personal intentions that you'd like to set for your time here this morning, this evening, whichever part of the world you're in, join your hands together at your heart. Set that intention. Say that prayer. Repeat that mantra. Dedicate the practice to somebody else. Another 2 full rounds of breath, 3-dimensional in nature. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Now that we've really balanced the energy channels, opened up the lungs, set the posture, take a cleansing breath and 1 round of Om to chant to open into our yin-yang flow. So get empty, take a big inhale, and open mouth, let it out. Breathe in. Complete that little reflective pause post Om. Bow your head in to your heart. Release your hands, open your eyes. If you are cross-legged or if you have one shin in front, just switch it out to create some balance in the body. So you're not always dominating with one side, which tends to be that right side, that yang side, right? Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, sweep the arms all the way down. Inhale, lift, spring to summer. Exhale, lower, fall to winter. That upsurge of energy, inhale, reflective of the yang. And then that down surge on the exhale, the yin. One more time, inhale. Exhale. And the right hand down, inhale, sweep the left arm up and over. Seated side stretch. Plug your left hip down into your prop, into the mat. And then take a deep breath in. As you exhale, diagonally sling. Reach your left arm forward and down. So you're adding a bit of forward bend into your lateral bend. Inhale, open back up to the side. And exhale, take it down on the diagonal to your right. Inhale up, side stretch. Exhale, down and across. Let's do that 2 more times, helping to loosen up that lower left side of the back. Inhale back to the seated side stretch. And then come back to the center, other side. Plug your right hip down. Keep your head nice and even between your shoulders. There's a good balance there, and your head is remaining in line with the spine. Deep breath in. Exhale, on the sling, diagonally reach forward and to your left. Inhale, open up. Exhale, down and across, feeling that nice stretch through your lower right side of the back. A few more cycles. Pulse with your breath, using enough muscle energy to actively warm up. Every time you use muscle energy in your practice, it's really when you're tapping into the yang, the energy of the sun. And then when we balance it with more passive long holds, that will be the yin component of the practice. Inhale, reach both arms up, finding your center. Exhale, bend your elbows out to the sides and give your shoulder blades a little squeeze behind you on the back so you can feel like they're hugging the back of your heart center. Take your hands into a light interlace at the top of the neck, base of the skull. The elbows out wide to start. So imagine that your head was like a ball in the mid of your hands. Draw up and then slightly back. So you could stay right here if this is enough for you, remaining really broad across the chest from elbow to elbow. Or you can draw your elbows more forward, upwards, so you can get more of a stretch there on the backs of the upper arms. And maybe a little more lift of the heart center, the throat center, the third eye. As you lay back, stay right on top of your sits bones. You can feel that base of the pelvis still anchoring you down into the earth like a root. Full breaths, center to the circumference. One more. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, start to send your gaze forward, and if your elbows were wide, bring them straight ahead of you like I am here, narrow, and start to round your back. Curling, chin in toward chest, elbows down approaching the hip bones, the thigh bones. Inhale, open. So you can keep the elbows in or you can take them wide if you want that bit more opening across your chest, up to you. Exhale, draw it in and down, contracting the spine. I'm just doing a few more pulses here. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. One more. Inhale, come back up. Send your elbows out. Release your hands down and take a full breath seated. Just to notice that energy you've awakened thus far in your body. your mindful, conscious movement, breath, and meditation. I'm going to come to tabletop, all fours. So similarly to what we just did seated, cat-cow. We'll combine it all together to make bear posture. After a few cycles of just flexing and extending the spine. Inhale, round. And exhale, arch. Sync with your breath. And when you feel ready to add some barrel rolls, that makes it bear posture, which is technically the yin posture. These 360-degree barrel rolls. So you can start going clockwise, spin of time. After a few times, reverse it going against the grain. Countering time. When you feel complete with that, come back to center. If you have a block accessible, you are welcome to utilize it here, right underneath the sternum, pretty much underneath the heart or the breastbone. So before you put your right hand onto that, bring your knees just a little closer together, and then send your left leg out to the side from your hip. And you can really angle that left foot in any way that feels good for your body. So if you want to have the foot more parallel to the side edge of your mat, or if you want to turn it out a little bit, all good. You just want to be able to target a nice stretch sensation here on the inner left thigh. And then take your left hand onto the block or onto the mat. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Twist. Really let your pelvis move with the twist. You're not worried about keeping it square, anything like that. Just follow the sensations in your body that feel good to move through and release. And we'll pulse a few times with this. Exhale, rolling panda. Thread the right arm under, bend your left elbow out, almost like you're going to try to hear what's underneath the floor with your right ear. Twice more. Inhale. Open it up. Twist. Exhale. Thread the needle, rolling panda, hover it. One more time. All the way through and down. So if you have that block, you can use it to prop up your head, give your neck some more support as you rest that right arm, wrist and hand heavy into the mat. And then you can keep your temple down so your gaze will be a little more straight side. Or you can spiral your gaze a little more up, and then you're going to feel more like the back part of the head on your block or on the mat. Inhale, send your left arm up. Turn in from the shoulder so you can bring your hand to your sacrum or your forearm across your lower back in a half bind. And you might even be able to catch the inside of that right thigh with your left fingertips, giving you a bit of a barrier that'll hold the posture together as you work into that twist. You're going to stay here for at least another minute or so, so if at any point you need to adjust something about the posture, you feel free to make that call for yourself. Sometimes after a minute or so, we find that something is released enough that we can go a little deeper or explore a different variation. And then on the other hand, sometimes it's nice to back off. Let's not go too deep. Be somewhere that's just a little more balanced, where you can really breathe, where you can really soften and let go into the yin quality, that passive stretch, surrender. And then you know the distinction when it's time to fire it up a little more for the yang. Couple more deep breaths. Slowly unwind it. Frame your face with your left hand so you can inhale. Pick yourself up. Slide that left knee in. Come back to your table pose. Bring your knees wide and your big toes together so you can rest into a child's posture. So in between sides, surrender to the earth. Take a giant breath into the sides of the ribs and into the back of the waistline. And on your next inhale, come up from child's. Find your table. Tuck your toes underneath your feet. Walk your hands a tad forward so your stance got a little longer. Lift the hips up and back to find your downward dog. And just take it for a walk right from the beginning. Just notice that you're feeling a bit asymmetrical and imbalanced, having done the nice twist on one side. So it's just about promoting awareness moment to moment through the practice. How do I feel? I give myself permission to feel all of my feelings. And I give myself permission to embody all the various aspects of me, from the yin to the yang. Because that's what's real. Once you feel like you've walked your doggy sufficiently, settle in for a good few breaths in a more actively still pose. So definite yang engagement here. Wrap your muscles to the bones. Internally in the thighs, externally in the arms and the shoulders. So your armpits spiral to your heart center. Your knees bend enough that your tail stays nice and lifted with your heels a bit off the mat. Feel the weight in the balls of the feet, the balls of the hands. Fingertips light. Chin off the chest. Feel your heart right on that center line, right between the back and the front. Another 2 full breaths. And then come back to table. You can relax your toes back behind you. Feel free to grab that block if it serves you. Send your right leg out to the side from your hip. Place the right hand underneath your heart. Inhale, left arm up. That nice breath across your chest, wide across your collarbones. Big inhale into the tops of the lungs. Exhale. Thread pulse hover, like you're trying to hear something underneath the floor with that left ear. Twice more. Follow the breath. And then place it all the way down. You're welcome to keep that block there as a sort of a pillow, just so you don't have to strain your neck to make contact with a base underneath your head. And then let your pelvis be involved in the twist. And you don't have to stay on the clock or be squared here or anything like that. You can just really go to the sensations in the body that feel good, that feel like they need a good release and a good stretch. So it's really about listening in, feeling in to whatever is present and working with what you got. Once you find your way, you can take that top hand from an internal rotation in the shoulder to the sacrum or to a half bind across the lower back. You need to aggressively reach for anything. Just go to where it's pretty naturally easeful. You can let go of the tension of your muscles. Get more into those connective tissues of the body, which are our target and yin postures. Fascia. Essentially made of water. So can you match that quality of your fascia, that quality of your breath? It's like every deep breath is hydrating, nourishing, cleansing from the inside out. Just a little longer here to breathe into the twist. Inhale, slowly unwind. Pick yourself back up to table to return back into child's pose. And just as a repose, an opportunity to find center, find neutral, just to feel in to the effects of the practice, the postures thus far. Internally repeat your mantra, your intention, so you can take that energy and vibration with you into downward facing dog once again. So feel those muscles hugging your bones. It's like you're practicing self-love. Give yourself a good squeeze. Inhale, stretch your right leg up and back to the three-legged dog and let that be an exploration. You can stay here, you can roll the hip, you can circle the ankle, the knee, whatever you like. You can really tap into your own spring of creativity. Exhale, step through to a lunge. Stack your front knee over the ankle. Engage your inner thighs towards one another. So we're going to stay in the yang for a bit here and come on up. Now, those of you who are over in Europe and maybe you've had a long day and you're not just starting it like we are here in California, you could definitely ground your back knee to the mat. Just give yourself that bit of extra support. Or if you're feeling it, lift it up. Lift through the heart. Keep it centered between your back and your front. Accelerate a bit more of your weight into the ball of your front foot. To inhale, reach the arms up. Pinky fingers and palms back. Feel the energy of that lunge. Squeeze to your midline, rise up the center. Every exhale, just find a little more depth, a little more connection to the earth, to your expression of the pose, right here, right now. Let's take another 3 breaths. And exhale, release your hands down. Release your back knee and shift it back to a half split, flexing your front toes up. Use your blocks, one in each hand if that might serve you, because we're going to pulse from here. Forward to the lunge, back to the half split. Follow the breath. Here you're in that bit more of a grounded variation with the back knee on the mat. If you want to rock this with a little more energy, a little more yang, a little more heat, you can lift your back knee and take it from pyramid back to the lunge. So up to you. Maybe there's a flex in that front foot. Maybe you keep it grounded to stretch the top of the foot and the front of the ankle. Three more, pulsing back and forth. One more time. And once you get to your lunge, tuck your back toes so you can lift your knee and step forward to a hang. Standing forward bend. And again, feel the difference, right to left. Feel free to keep your hands on your blocks or take your opposite elbows, ragdoll style. So hold the backs of your legs or your ankles. Feel yourself lifting that skin and flesh up so you can shift more weight into the balls of the feet and truly let your spine and head hang out of your pelvic bowl with gravity. Relax any gripping in your toes. Feel the contact of belly to thighs. That sensation of being upside down, head below heart. Nice good rush of blood to the brain. Very calming for the nervous system. Feel that tone through your legs. Inhale, extend the spine forward to a half lift. I like to use blocks underneath the shoulders here. Really helps me to think about accelerating more weight forward into the balls of the feet. You can also have your hands on your upper outer shins. And exhale, bend forward. 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Last time, inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend forward. Bend your knees a ton, almost like you're going to drop your tail down to the earth and then start to roll up your spine, one vertebra at a time. Roll the shoulders coupled a few times once you're up there in a mountain pose. Let's breathe in mountain for a few rounds. Close the eyes, let your arms hang naturally wherever your palms want to face. Penetrate your roots through the four corners of your feet, down into the earth. Feel the energy rise up with the inhale. Drop back down with the exhale. The yin, and then back up the yang. Back down the yin. Back up the yang. So just this continuous cycle. One more breath in Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Lift your heart. Exhale, tip at your pelvis to fold forward. Move forward in space. So wait until the balls of the feet as you inhale, half lift. Exhale into downward facing dog. Find your form first. Give it a really good solid breath. Inhale to lift the left leg up. Free form exploration for a few cycles of breath. Really play, do anything you like here with that top leg, hip, foot. Just keep the breath flowing, don't let it get stuck. Exhale, step it through to a lunge. So you get to design your practice, right? Based off what you feel and what you know you need. So maybe it's back knee grounded for the lunge, Anjaneyasana, or perhaps you're looking for a little more energy heat. You can lift it up for crescent. High variation of Anjaneyasana. Put your hips on a clock face. The right hip's at 3, the left hip's at 9, and you're using really good amount of muscle energy here, yang component of the practice, to stabilize. Keep your form for another couple rounds of breath. That nice plug of your big left toe ball mounted to the mat. And exhale, hands down. So if you're in the high variation, you can come from lunge to pyramid stretch. As you inhale, you may shorten that stance a little bit. And then back to lunge. Or you can rock this from half split back to lunge. Continue to pulse with the breath back and forth. Take your time with it. The flex in the front foot is an option. You can also play with keeping the foot plugged down, and you'll notice that you get a little more of a stretch there on the top of the foot and the front of the ankle, even up through the outer shin a little bit. In addition to that lovely hamstring posterior hip release. Couple more. Lift your back knee so you can step forward to standing forward bend. So plug into the variation that feels right. Follow your intuition, your inner body wisdom, which you have a ton of. So know that, trust that. Just give yourself permission to feel all the feels in the present moment. Just one time from here to half lift. Inhale, extend the spine forward. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Reach the arms up as you extend. Exhale, hands down, back to mountain. Stand very neutrally, naturally. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. So from standing, flip your left palm to the ceiling and bind the wrist with the hand. I'm trying to get a good view here. So top palms facing upward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull it over to your right, standing side stretch. Keep the thighs internally rotated. And then like you're melting down like some Swiss fondue. Bend your knees. Keep that melted quality in your lower body. And then pull your top wrist forward and on the diagonal. So you'll be rounding your back and pulling that left wrist up into the right. Big release again on that lower left side of the back, your QL area. And then re-extend your legs as you come back to the lateral standing side stretch. Inhale all the way up. Switch the bind. Exhale to your left. Maintain the nice flow of the breath. Melt like some Swiss fondue toward the earth. Pull your right wrist forward down into the left. Contract into the back body. Plug the navel toward the spine to help protect your lower back as you receive this release for another couple rounds of breath. And inhale back up to the lateral standing side stretch. Exhale and inhale up. Release your arms. Take a full body breath. Okay. I know the time flies. Turn to a side of your mat so you're facing the long edge like I am here. Step it wide with parallel feet. Take a big inhale. And exhale, tip your pelvis forward, wide-legged, standing forward bend. You can reach for your blocks of the earth, or again, you can always reach for your outer lower legs or ankles. To circulate that inner heat you've cultivated with your breath all around. About 3 more full cycles. Inhale, lengthen the spine, bring your hands back, heel toe your feet closer together so you can work yourself down towards a seated pose. All right, so we are working around the last corner of this practice. It's crazy how fast it goes. Prop yourself up. If you have a blanket or any sort of like meditation or sofa cushion would work. You could use blocks, not really as comfy or as forgivable. So preferable if you have something a little bit softer. All right, so we'll do a seated hip stretch from here. Your choices are cross-legged or ankle to knee. In that case, you have a nice equilateral triangle between your legs. And then you can opt to either stay seated or fold forward. And you can even incorporate, if you have it, a bolster or really any sort of pillow will work really nicely here. So you've got this set up with blocks underneath your bolster lengthwise. You can also play with the more bridge type setup where the bolster is horizontal, propped up on your blocks, and then you fold over like that. So just do a couple minutes here for the hips. And once you do get into it, let your feet relax. Just fall into that natural breath. All the way down to the depths. Excavating and letting go of any old stuff. Anything that perhaps doesn't belong to you. You can hold on to it anyway. And it's a choice. Each breath. What can you create space for and what can you let go? In order to know what to let go, you must give yourself permission to feel all of your feelings. It's an inside job. As much as I'm sure we could all stay there quite a bit longer, we are going to come out just for time's sake and switch right over to the other side. If you need a little moment in between just to pause and feel and repose, you're more than welcome. When you're ready, shift it. Cross-legged, or you can also do this as like the heel-to-heel variation. or ankle to knee. In Yin, we would call this square posture. So there's a nice triangle going on between your legs. Once you get into the form and you fold, then you can really give your body permission to fully soften. So into the passive, into the Yin stretch. Let's honor any differences that you feel between sides of the body. Even any different layers that might show up or ask to be investigated, breathed into, excavated, and let go. And you can even just notice what your body's communicating to you depending on the side, right? The right being the yang, the solar, the masculine. The left, the yin, the lunar, the feminine. Let's give it a few more breaths. Okay, so we're going to start to wind this down. Once you've come out of your hip stretch, you can just take a moment, a little mini brief moment to sit and breathe. Just feel into your whole energy body. And then in closing, make your way onto your back. Now, there's a number of ways you can set up your final resting position. It could be just Shavasana on your back, lying flat. If you have a wall accessible, you can throw your legs up the wall. It might feel nice to get a little bit of a release through the frontal hips. And this can even turn into a legs up position. If you start from your back, like you're coming in for bridge pose, and then put your blocks or your bolster or your blanket right under your sacrum. And you can stay here, or like I mentioned, send the legs up into the air, so getting that nice inverted effect. So let's really tap into the yin now. Let's just say the yang is complete. And from here on out, it's all yin. Receive. Soften. Breathe more fully so you can surrender, even if it's just for a few good minutes here to close out your practice. On your back, eyes closed. The sanctuary of your home. Feeling all the feels.